Hello my friends, myself registered dietitian Pooja Dhumkar. I am a clinical nutritionist working since last 10 years. I am a nutrigenomic counselor also. So today my topic is very versatile topic, that is proteins. What are proteins? Proteins are micromolecules like carbohydrate and fat which gives us energy to do daily activity. 1 gram of protein gives us 4 kilocalorie. So how protein term is coined? Protein term is coined by the Dutch chemist Mulder in 1938. He defined protein as a nitrogen-containing constituent of a food without which life is impossible. So protein means is to take the first place. So protein is a building blocks our body. Similarly, in the construction to make a house, we require blocks. So here our building blocks is our proteins. Proteins are made up of small unit of amino acid. So here is the example. This is one single amino acid, another amino acid. These amino acids get combined and it form a protein. So protein are the form from the amino acid. Amino acid as the basic component of our protein. 50% of amino acid, 50% of protein is present in our muscle, 20% in our bone, 10% in skin, and remaining is present in our all the cells and the tissue. So what is the daily requirement of a protein? Do it is same for me and you? No. Protein requirement vary according to your energy consumption. That means how much amount of carbohydrate, how much amount of fat you are taking, that will depend upon your protein consumption. Secondly, it will depend upon the physical activity. That means how much physical activity daily you are doing, it will again see on your protein content. Third, weight and your body composition. And fourth, any kind of illness, trauma or any kind of a major operation will decide your protein content. Then protein content is increased in some biological phases like infancy and adolescence, pregnancy and lactation, and again any kind of major illness or trauma. Generally, we do calculate protein requirement as a 0.8 to 1 gram kg per ideal body weight. So if the person is weighing 60 gram, that means his body weight, ideal body weight is 60 kilocalorie, 60 kilogram, then his protein requirement will be 60 gram per day. It will again depend upon the physical activity, other energy consumption unit, his weight, and any illness he is having or not. But this is the basic RDA for a healthy person. Then what are the sources of protein? The sources of protein is categorized into the two types, that is first class protein or a second class protein. First class protein will get from the animal sources. You may have known the examples like milk and milk products, cheese, paneer, butter, skim milk powder, poultry in poultry, chicken, egg, and red meat, lean meat. These are the animal sources. These are called as the first class sources. Second class sources will get from the plant sources like dals, legume, pulses, dry fruits, nuts, and the oil seed. These are called as the plant sources. This is the basic types of basic plant sources types. But as a dietitian, we do have another type of classification, that is complete protein and incomplete protein. So what are the complete protein? Complete protein having the high biological value and which contain all the types of essential amino acid. What are essential amino acid? You have seen the amino acid, that is these are the building blocks of our body. So there are essential amino acid, non-essential amino acid. Essential amino acid, that means it is required by the body but body cannot produce it. We have to supply it from the outside. So complete protein is made up of all the essential amino acid, and incomplete protein is one or two amino acids are limiting in that food group. So how we can do a incomplete protein to a complete protein? It's here is example like cereal lacks the lysine amino acid and pulses lacks the methionine amino acid. So if we combine cereal and pulses together, you will get a complete protein. That means your cereal and pulses will give all the amino acids required for your body. Examples are very simple. Idli, dosa, our rice and dal or curd rice, or in the north the people used to have paratha with the dals or paratha with the legumes. Why it is so? It is because the cereal lacks the lysine, that is wheat lacks the lysine amino acid, and dals or pulses lack the methionine amino acid. To make the protein complete, It is known as a protein complementation or mutual supplementation. So this is the two basic type of proteins. Now we have seen what is protein, what is requirement of protein, and what are the sources of protein. The last one is why protein is so much important in our life. First, as we know, it is a building block of our body. So to give a structure, a perfect structure to a body, protein is required. Secondly, lots of enzymes, hormones and neurotransmitters are secretory enzymes. These are called as a proteins. They are basic protein in nature. If you limit your protein intake, your proper enzyme will not form. It will not work properly in your body. Best example of neurotransmitter is you can take a serotonin. We call it as a serotonin is a mood swing hormone or a happy hormone, relaxing hormone. That hormone will get from the tryptophan amino acid, and tryptophan we will get from the milk. So if you have a warm milk, you will get the tryptophan. Tryptophan will form the serotonin, and serotonin will change your mood to happy mood or soothing or in a relaxing form. Second thing, to fight against the infection. Yes, antibodies are protein in nature. So if you are having low protein diet, or if you are not getting enough protein from your body, enough protein from your meal, your body is always tend to have a high risk for the infection. So regularly normal protein diet or normal protein in your meal is very much important. Next important function is transport protein. Transport protein, as a name suggests, to pick up some nutrient and to drop it in the another cell. It's like a bus. So the best transport protein we know is a hemoglobin, right? Hemoglobin carries the oxygen and nutrients from one cell to the another cell. Hemoglobin is a protein in nature. So if you have a low hemoglobin, then the transportation will not be get properly in your body. Second is the fluid, to maintain a body fluid balance. As we know, earth is made up of 70% of water. Similarly, our body is made up of 60% of water. To maintain that balance, that is intracellular fluid, outside the cell and inside the cell fluid balance, we have to maintain. To maintain that balance, we require a protein, and that protein is albumin. And albumin will get from the egg also. Egg albumin that will help to maintain a balance between our intracellular and the extracellular fluid. Last is to maintain the pH of a body. Yes, how protein helps to maintain a pH of a body. So protein, if you have a high protein diet, your body become acidic in pH, and in acidic condition your body is prone to catch the infection as early as possible. So it is always said to have a protein in your normal diet so that you can keep your body in alkaline medium. What are the side effects of high protein and what are the side effects of low protein? If someone is consuming low protein in diet, what will happen? It will start losing his muscle protein, because as we know 50% of protein is present in muscle. So if you are having low protein in your diet, to do daily activity or to do daily work inside the body, you will require protein. But if your meal is not having that much amount of protein, your muscle will start losing the protein, and it is known as a wasting of muscles. And what will happen if you have a high protein in your diet? So here is a fad that young ones are following for a muscle building or body building. They are taking lots of protein supplement with different types. But is it really necessary to have that much amount of protein supplement daily? Do give a thought or do think on it. No, it is not necessary to have 100 gram of protein, 150 gram of protein, 200 gram of protein on a daily basis. It will cause or it will hamper on your kidney and liver. What happens? As we know, protein is made up of a nitrogen. It will put pressure on your liver and pressure on your kidney to get excreted extra nitrogen containing in your body. It can need to increase in your urea, it can increase your uric acid. Like we can say uric acid is increased in case of a gout condition. Secondly, excess of protein lead to the loss of calcium from your bone, making your bones brittle and leading to a disease osteoporosis. So if you are having high protein diet for so many months, your body calcium level will decrease, bone calcium level will decrease, your bones become brittle and you can tend to the osteoporosis. Third kidney function effect is kidney stones. With the calcium excretion, oxalate also get excreted from the urine and it can cause pressure to the kidney, forming a kidney stone. Example you can take for the weight gain or for the muscle gain. Most of the time animal protein, that is first class protein, and the supplement is used. Processed meat generally the people tend to have, it contains nitrites. Nitrites are used for the preservation and the color fixation for that meat. It gets converted to nitrosamine, and nitrosamine is a cancer causing agent. So guys, please do think while having excess protein in your diet, is it really necessary for you or just you are taking it for the fashion? So check on this. If you are not getting enough protein and if you are having enough protein, please do check with your dietitian, because let food be your medicine, not medicine be your food. Thank you. My patient always tend to ask me, that is, I am a vegetarian, so I am getting enough protein or not, because my friend is non-vegetarian, so he is getting enough protein, so I am worried for my protein. So friends, vegetarian diet is also rich in protein. You can include the protein sources like dals, pulses, nuts and oilseed. Soybean is there in your diet to increase your protein content. Similarly, you can have a milk and milk products like paneer you can have in your milk. Soya paneer also you can have in your diet. Curd and buttermilk. These all combination will increase your vegetarian protein diet content. If you are not having egg also and non-veg also, so it is okay. But you have to check on your protein intake, that daily you are taking dal or pulses or not. Daily you are having milk or not. Daily you are taking buttermilk or curd or not. And paneer, 2 to 3 times in a week you are taking paneer or not. Cheese is also rich in protein content, but cheese is a processed food with salt content higher side. So if you are having ideal body weight with sedentary man with no currently disease, you can go for a cheese 15 once in a 15 days. But to limit the content, you can use milk, curd, buttermilk, you can use skim milk powder also, soya bean, nuts, pulses and legumes. These all will make your food complete and your vegetable protein intake will also increases. People always say that is keto diet, which is a fat, generally nowadays is a fat diet going on, is a high protein diet. So keto diet is not a high protein diet, is a high fat diet. So please don't get confused or please don't listen to anyone who says the keto diet is a high protein diet. No, keto diet is a high fat diet. It contains the protein but in a less amount, and it contains the fat in the higher amount. So keto diet is a high fat diet, not a high protein diet. So to conclude, just ensure in your diet that you are having enough protein or not. If you are not having enough protein in your diet, please do visit your registered dietitian or take professional help who can solve your problems or who can solve your queries. Let diet be your medicine, not medicine be your diet. Thank you. Proteins are divided into two parts, that is first class protein and the second class protein. First class protein are from the animal sources. Here we can see milk and milk products like cow's milk, buffalo milk, skim milk powder, curd, paneer, cheese, poultry, chicken, egg hen, red meat. These are the sources of our protein, that is called as a first class protein. In second class protein, we have the sources like all the dals which we regularly use in our kitchen, legumes and pulses, nuts and oilseeds, that is groundnuts and almond. So these are the sources of our proteins which are divided into the first class protein and the second class protein. In your daily diet, we have to always use the protein in the combination, that is use both the proteins, first class protein and the second class protein.